If you've ever read any piece of Marxist literature or you just know about the movement, one thing that will always come up is generally Marxists talk about the exploitation of the working class. Well, what does that actually mean? Today I'm going to explain surplus value, which has a lot to do about that, and I'm also going to go a little bit more into how and what worker exploitation is and how it still exists within our society. Generally, in communist circles, when we discuss classes and we talk about how to handle issues within capitalism, we generally discuss two specific classes of people. Generally, these are the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. The proletariat being the worker, the people who sell their labor power, their energy, and their time, essentially, to make goods for the bourgeoisie who own the factory, and in return, they get wages. The thing is that they generally are exploited for this. You're probably wondering, well, what do you mean exploited? Well, you see, that's where today's video topic comes in. When you make an item, generally two things come to mind. That being constant capital, which is the cost of the materials to make an item. That is, like, if I'm making, say, a chair, that's going to be the wood, essentially, and that's going to be the tools to collect the wood and also make, say, the wood into, like, a manufactured good, such as, like, a chair or something. Next, we have variable capital. That is the wages. That is the wages the worker makes. And if you've ever taken like basic economics in school, you probably know constant and variable capital. Now we talk about surplus value. What is surplus value? Surplus value is essentially the added cost onto an item that someone adds to make sure they get a profit. Like, let's say, for instance, constant capital is $4 and the variable capital is $2. What we then have is a $6 worth item. Well, a capitalist might go ahead and add maybe 50 cents or $1 on top of that, and that is where the worker is exploited. You're probably wondering, well, they got their wages, how are they being exploited? It's because the bourgeoisie, who didn't have to do any labor, if any little, is getting the money. They didn't do any work. But the worker who did do it is not getting as much money, and they did all the work. And that's where we, as communists, generally see, oh, that's unfair, why do we allow that? This can also be taken even further. What do you mean? Well, I mean this. When you get home, you get your check, right? You also have to pay, on top of that, taxes. Okay, whatever, not a big deal. Sometimes those taxes come back in welfare programs, or they come back in certain things that benefit you as a citizen, such as the roads and everything, which, alright, I'll follow. And not regard any like possible ulterior motives that benefit capitalists, because that's irrelevant as long as you're getting a service, right? Well, then you also have to worry about bills and rent, which is also where things get even darker with this exploitation. When you, as a worker, get your wages, you have to give it even more to a class of people who do nothing, such as landlords with rent, and also bourgeoisie who own like grocery shop markets. These people didn't do any of the work, and you have to pay for goods that are necessary for the existence of yourself, for your very survival. Now you might say, okay, well, we still need to cover the cost for these people to collect these items. To which I'm going to say, these workers who collect these items are still being exploited by their bosses. So, if anything, why would you not just get rid of the surplus value? Well, because you can't, because the bourgeoisie would never allow that. I hope this video was a bit more insightful about how surplus value and worker exploitation comes about. I'm planning to do more videos about the communist stuff and Marxist theory in the future. Stay tuned for more.